Welcome to the Word in Season Ministries broadcast with Pastor Mac McCullough and co-pastor Frida McCullough, located at 1520 Fagan Mill Road in Warner Robins, Georgia.
Hello and welcome to the Word in Season Ministries broadcast on this beautiful Sunday. We're so happy that you joined us today. I am co-pastor Frida McCullough. I'm here with you all by myself today, but I'm glad to be here with you, and I'm glad that you came in to spend a little time with us. Got a few things we're going to be talking about today. We're just finishing up our Team WISM weekend. It was phenomenal, powerful day, powerful weekend, not just the day, but weekend. And we had some great things. We're going to be talking about some of those things and actually talking to someone from this weekend a little bit later in the show. But I know we're, talking about marriage and here by myself today, but I'm still going to talk about marriage, just a snippet today. And then we'll be back to a full show on marriage next week because we did want to capture some things from our Team WISM weekend event. Just to tell you a little bit before I go into the marriage segment about our Team WISM weekend, and it's our second time doing this, and it was an idea that Pastor Matt came up with. It was just a weekend. It started off last year kind of being a leadership weekend where we just kind of did a few things for WISM. We had children, we had stuff for teens, stuff for singles, and this year we've taken it to another level. We took it to another level and just kind of came up with some other ideas. And so all weekend, it's about celebrating our ministry. Pastor and I have a pastoral anniversary, but this is really about celebrating WISM, Word in Season Ministries, and all the wonderful people that are connected to this ministry. We celebrated this past weekend. We celebrated, started on Friday night, all day on Saturday, and of course on today. It's one big celebration. And so if you didn't get a chance to be with us on this year, you'll get a chance next year as we'll be doing Team WISM weekend again. But listen, I'm going to talk just a few minutes about being a wife. That's the part of being marriage is you have a husband and you have a wife. And so I can't talk about being a husband. But I can talk about being a wife. It's one of those things sometimes I almost kind of shrunk back from talking about because I don't know if I'm always the best wife. But, it is what it is. I think you grow. When I got married, I was 21 years old. I am proud to say that I'm 45 now. And the way I thought when I was 21 is not the same I think now at 45. And I have evolved and grown over the years and still growing. I don't think that there's anyone who is perfect when it comes to understanding this thing of marriage, whether you're the husband or the wife, because it's a constant growing thing. It's constantly learning more about yourself and who you are, what you'll take, what you won't take, what you do, what you won't do, what you wouldn't do, now you would do. There's so many different dynamics, and you grow as a woman and in being a wife. One of the things I had to realize when I as I became a wife and mother and all those different things is, I had to protect the fact that I was still a woman. And a lot of times we sometimes get lost in that. And I think our husbands would appreciate it if we realized and we kept hold of the fact that we were still a woman, not just a wife. And if you understand who you are as a woman, it makes you a better wife. And so, taking care of yourself, because I'd be the first one to say that going to the doctor would be the last thing that I do. I take everybody else, make sure everybody else is taken care of. But sometimes as a wife and as a mother and as you're doing things, you don't always, take care of yourself. And so that's, I think, the first part about being a wife is remembering you are still a woman and you still need to take care of yourself. You still need to make sure you are maintained emotionally, physically, and that you have, happiness in your life as well, because as a wife you can spend your time making everybody else happy and doing things for everybody else, but it's okay. Can I tell you, it's okay to go get your hair done, ladies, or get your nails done, or take a day, a few hours of me time to reset. It's okay, because I understand the stresses of marriage and family and work and church and life become sometimes too heavy, and sometimes as a woman we run on E. And we're trying to help everybody else, and we're running on E ourselves. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is some self-care and some self-maintenance. And I've got to be the example of that, because I have like 15 different things that I do. I'm always doing something. But every Friday I get my hair done. That's my me care, my self-care, my me time of getting my hair done. I set aside that time. So whatever it is for you, you may have, say, every 2 weeks or every month I get a massage, or I get my toes done every 2 weeks. Whatever it is, I want you to know that you're special, ladies, and that you deserve whatever it is that you do to take care of yourself, because if you take care of yourself, you'll become a better you, which then helps you become a better wife, and if you have children, become a better mother, because you now have the energy, the strength, the wherewithal to take care of somebody else. The Bible says to love your neighbor as yourself, and sometimes it's hard to love somebody if you don't love yourself, because your perception of how you love yourself is tainted. You then have a hard time loving your neighbor the way they should be loved. So I'm encouraging you to love yourself first, and then when you say love your neighbor as yourself, it now makes sense, because a lot of us treat our neighbors the way we treat ourselves. And that's not always good. And so I want to encourage you to love yourself, take care of yourself. And I have a few notes here. We're going to talk about a couple of things that a godly woman strives to be. These are not all set in stone. They're not all the things, and there's so many facets and so many different things that you can do and you can strive to be. I'm just going to hit a couple of them. And here's one. It says a godly woman seeks to be a hard worker. Proverbs 31. We love that scripture about women. And the Proverbs 31 woman, she was a wife. Man, she was a wonderful wife according to the scripture. But it says she was a hard worker. She girds herself with strength, and she strengthens her hands. She stretches out her hand to staff, and her hand holds the spindle. And then so it talks about this woman. If you don't, the Proverbs 31 woman, man, it seemed like she was a businesswoman. She was a hard worker. She took care of things. She handled stuff. And I think as a wife, as a helpmate, we are to be there to help our husbands and to be hard workers. Not just, I know they're the man and they're supposed to provide, but not just let them do everything, but let them know that you're there to help, even if it's to help fulfill the vision that they have, or, to help, people ask me all the time, about me being co-pastor. And I'm just here. Pastor Mac is the pastor. He is the pastor of Word and Season Ministries. And I am here just as a co-pilot on a plane that, when the co-pilot is there, they're there taking instructions from the pilot, and they're there to just assist in whatever the pilot needs. And so, for me, I'm here to assist him in whatever he needs, in whatever area I can lend my hand to. Also in the home, to be a helper. One of the things I said on one of the other shows was that I have always worked. I think it was 6 months in our marriage. 6 months out of our marriage that I didn't work. That's what I chose to do. If you don't choose to do that as a woman, I applaud you. If you can stay home with your children, and if you all have it set that way, I applaud you for that. But for me, I worked. I did. I got out and I worked. And that's mainly because I didn't like staying at home. It had nothing to do with anybody, but I make myself laugh. But I don't care where you are. If you are a woman, a wife who stays at home with your children, or a wife who doesn't work, who does work, wherever you find yourself, make sure you find yourself being a hard worker. Be a hard worker if you're at home, making sure that you're taking care of your children, raising them, and you're pouring into them, and that you're taking care of the home. And if that's where you are, wherever you find yourself, just be a hard worker. If you're working in your community as a wife, if you're volunteering, just be the best you can be. Be a hard worker. Listen, and that goes to the second one. A good woman, or a godly woman, seeks to be prudent in financial matters. And again, Proverbs 31, she considers a field and buys it. For her profits, she plants a vineyard. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies sashes for the merchants. That woman was making money. I don't know about you, but there's something about women. We can find some money. We can find a way to make money. And this is what the Proverbs 31 woman was doing. She found a way to make money, to bring income into her home. Whether she worked outside of her home or not, she found a way. And listen, I'm going to say this for those of you who stay at home or those of you who are out working, she was prudent in her finances. That means that she just wasn't out spending money, just blowing money. And, especially if your husband or you and your husband have set a budget for the home and he asks you and you all say, okay, listen, we're only going to spend this much money on eating out, and you blow the budget every month. You got to be a little bit more prudent. It won't work that way. The reason why this woman was able to find land and buy it is because she saved. It's because she saved. And so, she was there, and she made sure that she was use wisdom when it came to her finances. So whatever role you play as a wife, use wisdom with your husband to help to maintain your finances. Use wisdom with your husband to make sure that you're helping the financial situation of your home, not hurting the financial situation of your home. Here's the last one. A godly woman seeks to do the right thing and have a good reputation. And again, Proverbs 31:23. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. And he's known in the gates among the elders because his wife was seeking to have a good reputation. Try to make sure not just, you make your husband look good, but make your family look good, that you're known as a woman who has a good reputation, who is wise, who is prudent, who uses, you can trust, and who makes great decisions. And all of that takes growth, but always strive to be that person and be that woman that does the right thing and has a good reputation. Those are just 3 things I came up with as we were doing some research on things that you should strive for and being a good wife. I'm telling you, there's so much more. There's so many more. And believe me, I don't have all the answers. I don't have it all together. I've been married 24 years, but I'm still learning day by day. Get it wrong sometimes, but I'm still learning. And I want to encourage you wives out there to keep trying. Stay encouraged, and know God loves you. He has a plan for you, and He has placed you in the role of a wife because there's something in you that you can give to your family, to your husband, if it's just you and your husband, to your husband and your children, if you have children, and just to your family in general. Being a wife is a special thing. It's a wonderful thing, and it's a privilege for those of us who have the privilege to be someone's wife. And so I just want to encourage you that you would try to be prudent with your finances, that you would be a hard worker, and that you would strive and seek to do the right thing and to have a good reputation. Listen, speaking of women and speaking of wives, we're getting ready for our women's conference in September. I'm so excited. Have some awesome speakers. Janet Floyd, Sharice Ryan, I know one of the Real Talk Kim, I can't think of all the people named Joanne Rosario, Miranda C. Willis is coming. Oh my goodness, it's going to be powerful. We got women coming from Arizona, Illinois, right here in Georgia, all over, and we want to invite you to be a part of that with us. Listen, take a listen as we just give you a little bit of information about joining us for our women's conference in September.
The Word and Season Ministries Women of Destiny present the 2016 Transformed for Purpose Women's Conference on September 15th through 18th. The lineup of conference speakers and worship leaders is amazing this year. Visit www.wismconference.com for conference details and to register by August 28th. Ladies, you don't want to miss this opportunity to be transformed for purpose.
All right, and we're back. I hope that you ladies are just as excited as I am about our upcoming women's conference in September. Hope you can join us. Don't forget, go to our website, www.wismconference.com, and get more information about our powerful conference. But listen, I'm switching subjects on you right now, and we're back, and we're going to do, we have a guest in the studio with us today, and I want to do a little interviewing with him and talk to him a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest. It's Mr. Nick Carswell. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good. Listen, we got to know you because you were one of our showcase talent showcase on our Team WISM weekend at Rozier Park this past Saturday, and so we're getting an opportunity to talk with you and find out a little bit more about you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us where you're from.
Okay, so right now I'm living in Atlanta, Georgia, but actually I'm originally from Middle Georgia, born in Macon, raised in Dublin.
Right
so
here, Middle
I know
Georgia.
all about Central Georgia.
Okay, all right. Tell me, how did you migrate to Atlanta?
All right, so I went to school, Savannah State University, for about 2 years, and I found out that the reason why I was there was not my actual purpose in life. I was a mathematics major.
Wow.
That may sound funny, but I'm really good at math. But I did music all day, so I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta.
Okay.
And that's why I ended up moving up there. I moved up there in April 2012.
Wow.
I just graduated about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Graduation from the Art Institute of Atlanta.
That's right.
With your degree in
audio production.
Oh, wow.
I have a bachelor's degree in audio production.
Awesome. How amazing. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Man, you're young and got so much ahead of you. And I'm telling you, that is a great degree to have under your belt. There's a lot of production, a lot of, even in churches and everywhere, looking for people who have your skill. So
that's right.
Tell me, how was your journey with getting your degree?
My journey was a very interesting one, not necessarily the school part. The school part was, it was fun. It was easy. I made a lot of good connections, had a lot of different opportunities to work with people. I did an internship at 2 radio stations in Atlanta, so that was nice. But just as far as my mental and my spiritual being, that was a whole nother journey, because there were times I wanted to quit. I didn't have the proper equipment. I was doing music, but I was doing hip hop and R&B, so I would leave school to go out of town, and I would just barely make it to class. So I was going through a lot, but eventually I found out my purpose in life. My purpose was to speak life into people and to make music that uplifts the spiritual being and to uplift God. So I went through all of that.
Yeah, trying to, as they say, when you're young, I don't just think when you're young, I think when you're old, trying to find yourself.
That's
and
right.
Find out God's purpose in your life. And it's so amazing when that clicks. You're like, man, I did all this, but this is what I've been made to do. This is my purpose. And I think we all have to understand that we were created to give God praise. We love to say that we were created to give God praise, but even in our life, everything that we do gives God praise. So even with you getting a degree in, tell me again,
audio production,
you can find a way to give God glory in that.
Right.
And so going through those processes and those changes, because man, you said you started off with math. Well, musicians y'all got to kind of have a little bit of that. I think all that kind of works together in your brain, right? That's probably the same side of the brain.
Right.
And so, going from there to audio production, and I'm glad that God was able to, even at a young age, you're able to find your purpose, and not just find your purpose, but actually be walking in your purpose. One of the things you told me before we started is that you help a few churches out with playing. You're a musician.
That's
so
right.
You play for a few churches and help them out on Sundays and things like that, youth choirs. And so, you were here singing with us, and so you sing, you play, you have a lot of talents.
Yeah, I try to, give every gift that I have back to God if possible. I still play for my home church. I just don't live in Central Georgia. And, Dublin, from Marietta, that's 2.5 hours. That's a lot on me. And so luckily, one of my teachers back in middle school, he lives closer to the Atlanta area, so I've been playing with him too, and he introduced me to another youth choir, so I've been able to help them out where they lack, and it's just been a really good fellowship. So singing, music, playing the piano, getting in the studio, producing gospel records, I try to get into all of it, because why not?
Yeah. So you live in the Atlanta area. Do you have a studio up there? You just go into a studio and help record? Do you do any of that? What do you do?
So what's going on is, and it's a good thing that I went to school, because now I know a lot of my friends, they're into recording. So I can go to a lot of the smaller studios. I can go to major studios, and a lot of times the friends are the managers are my friends.
Okay.
But as far as me personally, I'm building my own studio. I have my monitors and my mic and all of that. I'm getting ready to move in about a month or two to Stockbridge, so I'm really looking forward to setting up my production studio. Not only my production studio, but a piano studio. I'm interested in teaching piano.
Oh, wonderful. See, I love that. You have vision. You understand what your purpose is, and now you're taking the purpose and you're going to walk it out. You have a vision set forth, and I believe that everything that you submit to God, God is going to bless you, and He's going to give you the desires of your heart because you're willing to give it back to Him. And here's the thing that I like about it. It's not just about what you can do. I heard you say that you have a lot of friends that like to do things, and you can use your giftings and your talents and your education to help them. But then now that the piano studio, now you can teach other young people how to play.
There's
You
so
can show
many
them,
people ask me about piano lessons.
yeah. And the good thing about it, the funny thing about it is that, now you can teach them not just, basic piano lessons, but you can teach them, the church side of it. Because one of the things about church, I've been in church all my life, and is training up musicians in the church. A lot of times, it's when I was little, they used to, you get on there and play, and you just had to figure it out. And we had to deal with the bad playing for a while. Because you could only play in one key. But now it's coming to the place that you all have learned, and you've grown up in the church. Now you're turning around and giving back to the next generation, the generation that's coming up behind you. And that's a blessing that you'll never forget about the generation that's coming up behind you. And you're teaching other young men and other young women to be able to be musicians in the house of the Lord, or wherever God will send them. Yeah, so I'm excited that for you. What's in Stockbridge? You say you're moving there really soon?
Yes. My lease in my current apartment is up in about a month, so really soon.
Stockbridge. I have sisters that live in Stockbridge.
Really?
Yeah, and they're in Stockbridge. My whole family is in the Atlanta area, so it's good. And Stockbridge gets you closer to the Warner Robins area as well, kind of like so you can get home maybe to Dublin a little bit more.
I drive a lot, so that's gonna help me tremendously.
Oh yeah, how often are you on the road?
Check this out. So I got my new car. I'm just gonna tell y'all this. I got my new car in December. It is now July, and I have put almost 25,000 miles on my car.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
you stay on the road. Oh my God, you gotta have a love for driving. Are you like all the time on the weekends? Is it during the week?
It's mainly on the weekends because of the different places that I play.
Yeah,
but during the week too, for revivals and different things like that. So
yeah, so I mean, it's good though that you're young and you can do that.
Man, I was at church the other day, and the deacon said, "You need a helicopter." So I'm gonna try to get one.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get some flying around, man, because you're young and you can still do all of that, and you can still give back and still have the energy to do it. I think when you start getting to a certain age, man.
Yeah, I might as well do it now, because I don't want to be 40. Like, man, I should have did that when I was 25.
Yeah,
nope, doing it now.
Do it now. Do it while you're young, and it's good that you're giving your best years to the Lord. You're giving to God everything that you have, even right now. And I promise you, because you're doing it now, you won't look back at 40 and say, man, like you said, I should have, or man, what did I do? I've wasted time. But you're giving God your time. And so we want to say thank you for participating with us in our weekend. It was a powerful weekend. We did so much, and it's a way for us to celebrate our ministry and those who are part of our ministry. And we want to say thank you for coming along and being out there with us on that Saturday. And it was hot, but you were out there with us and giving God glory. And it's for the community. It was for the community. It wasn't just about our church, but it was about touching those in the community, and especially in the light of all the things that are going on in our society. It's so good that we can be out and be in the community, and you, as I have to say, as a young black man, are doing positive things in the community and making a difference in the community. So I just want to say thank you for participating with us and for making that connection with Word in Season. I'm sure that won't be the last time that we'll make that connection.
It will not be the last time. I just want to say I thank you for having me. You guys are an awesome church. I'm just mind blown by the things that I've seen, the events that I've witnessed, and just the people that y'all have touched. So I definitely plan on coming back. So thank you once again.
All right, listen, we're gonna switch on you real quick, and we're gonna take a quick commercial break. Want to tell you a little bit more about some things that are going on here at Word in Season Ministries, and we also want to get a little snippet of your music. We're gonna take a few minutes and just hear a little bit of something from you, of what you've got. I know you got a little something that you can probably give us, and we'll let the people hear what we heard on Saturday. Would that work for you?
That is, look, that works with me.
Listen, again, we're here with Nick Carswell, one of our guests from our Team WISM weekend when we were at Rozier Park. Hey, y'all, take a listen to a little bit of what Nick has to offer for you out there in the worship world.
Running my own way.
And we are back. I hope you enjoyed that. Just a snippet of the song Free from our guest, Nick Carswell. We so enjoyed that. Nick, you want to tell us a little bit about that song that we just heard?
So that song, I was signed to a record label, independent record label. We did hip hop and R&B. Very, very great guy I was under, who was really for me. But I just think as far as my purpose was concerned, I would do some performances, and I realized that certain songs I did didn't affect anybody. They would just look at me, and I'm like, when I'm performing, I should really be touching somebody. So as far as that song is concerned, when I left that whole situation, that's when I realized what my purpose was and my mission was, to touch people and to give my gift back to God. And so since I've graduated and I'm making a transition, I felt free when I walked across the stage at graduation.
I bet you
felt
did.
free.
Amen.
So the song is saying, I'm free. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. I have a discerning eye now. Now I'm walking in the new path of life. Great. And so, therefore, I am free.
Yes,
That's where that song came from.
Amen. I hope that's ministering to people that you all understand the freedom that we have in Christ.
Right.
And as you walk into your purpose, you also experience another level of freedom.
And I feel so much better now. What I do know is, when you really do give your life to God, the devil's going to come and try to attack. But I'm not worried about Satan, because as of right now, I feel great.
Yeah, and you have the victory because Christ already won the victory for you. And so you can walk in that understanding of what Christ has done in your life. But listen, thank you so much for being here with us. Before we let you get out of here, Nick, I want to give you an opportunity to give us some information about how they can get in contact with you, your social media information, and a shout out to anybody that you want to talk to right here on the radio.
Right. So you can follow me on Facebook. My name is Nick Carswell, Carswell. That's Nick Carswell. You can follow me on Twitter. I just started my Twitter back up. The number one, Nick Carswell. The same thing for Instagram. The number one, Nick Carswell. You can even follow me on Snapchat if you want an even more personal look, Nick_Carswell. And as far as shout outs, first of all, I want to thank God for even allowing this to happen.
Yes.
Second of all, the Living Faith Praise Team in Dublin, Georgia, the pastor is Jamie T. Park. I could not have did what I did at the WISM Family Day without you guys, Diedrich, Alexis, Winton, Kelly, Mr. Pounds,
Yes.
Miss Donna, all y'all. Thank you, Puff, all y'all. Also, and I just want to thank my parents, Beverly and Calvin Carswell, my sister Bridget, she lives in Warner Robins. There's just so many more people that I could thank, but I'm just not going to do it at this time. That's enough. I feel like I'm talking too fast.
That's okay.
So thank you for this platform. Thank you, Team WISM. I'm glad I know you guys now.
Yes.
I'm really glad. So thank you. I call her Sweet Pea Denitra for even reaching out to me in the first place. So thank you guys.
Well, that's awesome. I'm so glad. I'm sure they're happy to hear their names, whoever they were, and they know your heart if they didn't hear your name. But thank you again for being with us. But listen, y'all, next week we're going to switch back to marriage. We wanted to just stop for a moment and talk about Team WISM Weekend. It is such a powerful weekend we had on Friday night with Clean Comedy, Saturday all day out there at the Rozier Park, and on today, Sunday, Todd Delaney and Dr. Shane Perry wrecked the house. We're so excited about the shift that's happening and celebration that's going on here at Word and Season Ministries. We can't wait till next year. But next week, we're going to be heading back to our marriage topic. And if you have any marriage topics or questions you want us to discuss during the show on next week, or if you would like to be a guest on any of our shows, send us an email to wisdomchannel@gmail.com. We'd love to have you. We'd love to try to answer your questions if we can when we switch back on next week. But listen, you can meet us right back here every Sunday at 3 p.m. on Praise 95.5 FM or 1350 AM. You can worship with us at Word and Season Ministries on Sundays at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Our address is 1520 Fagan Mill Road. And you can also meet us at the Well on Wednesday nights. We're finishing up our Wednesday at the Well during the summer. And coming up this Wednesday night, we have Pastor T.C. Boone. Want to give a shout out to our guest from last week, Kevin Ward. But we want to also get y'all excited and get you ready for Pastor T.C. Boone. Is coming up on Wednesday the 20th. We're excited to have him in the house. Listen, you can connect with us by visiting our website at www.wordinseason-ga.com. You can connect with us on social media by liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, watching us on Instagram, viewing us on YouTube, or just being a part of us on Periscope. We're all over social media, so you can connect with us in so many different ways. And look, we want you to connect with us. We want you to be a part of what's going on here at Word in Season Ministries. But listen, we got to get out of here. But as we always have you remember that for every season, there is a word in season. Y'all be blessed.